subscribers of Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram welcoming you to your Sunday edition of Cricket Happenings. We have three matches. The first, every match has been very exciting. As far as India made 320, taking his 29 5-wicket haul in Test cricket, and also he got good support from Akshar Patel, the debutant, who picked up 2 wickets, and Ishan Sharma also chipping in with 2 wickets. And India were absolutely in the driver's seat. They were 54 for 1 at close, and they were leading by 249 runs. As I said, the team that is batting last on this wicket, England, facing a minefield of a pitch. As we saw, the ball was really turning, and Ashwin was absolutely wreaking havoc over there as far as the England batsmen were concerned. The other match, the West Indies versus Bangladesh, we saw the other time the first had done a good job by bowling out the Bangladeshis for 296 in the first innings, taking a very good lead. But they were themselves bowled out for 117, and thus setting the Bangladesh a target of 230 runs for win. And in the end, West Indies have created history. This third string team, 10, they have actually won the series 2-0. They have blanketed. They have absolutely blanked Bangladesh 2-0 in the one-day in the Test series, and West Indies have won the match by 17 runs. It was a match which had these thrills, chills, and spills. The only thing is that, as I said, there was no public on the ground. But one thing I can tell you, this match was something which really went down. It was very exciting. In fact, the match was over on the fourth day itself. As you know, one more day left, I reckon. But let me tell you one thing about this particular match. As I said in the last match, Mehdi Hasan Miraz was keeping the hopes alive for Bangladesh. But finally, that man, Rakeem Cornwall, who actually picked up a 5 wickets here, and also with his height, to stoop down and take a catch absolutely on his haunches, which brought an end. And definitely Mehdi Hasan Miraz tried, but Mehdi Hasan Miraz himself succumbed to the bowling of Cornwall. And there was absolute jubilation in the West Indies camp as West Indies won the match by 17 runs. And they're absolute champions there. And West Indies, I'm sure Bangladesh would have been absolutely stunned. They were stunned in the first test. They have been once again stunned in the second test. And is this a start of a new generation of West Indian cricketers coming to the fore in international cricket? And the match, and finally, this particular series between the T20 series between Pakistan and South Africa, as I said, today was the decider. It was decided. Pakistan definitely doing very good here as they won the match against South Africa by 4 wickets to take the T20 series 2-1. But definitely South Africa shown, even coming with their second string team, they showed there were absolutely no push. One was probably thinking this particular T20 series would be quite one-sided, but it was not to be. We had everything inside. There was absolute entertainment there, and one has to credit South Africa for playing beautifully and providing a wholesome entertainment to the public in Pakistan. Now, let's get on to the match. So now it's time to look at the match, and let's have a look at the card here to see what really was actually resuming their first innings. All eyes were on Rishabh Pant because Rishabh Pant was the key for India to go and make a big score. And it was very essential. There was, as you know, on Star Sports, we saw that there were a lot of discussions going on. Mark Butcher, Sunil Gavaskar. I was just wondering, they were definitely speaking about Rishabh Pant going there and making it big, but they never even talked about it. It never crossed their mind that they spoke about what would happen if, say, for example, Rishabh Pant succumbs very quickly. Well, that didn't happen. But the problem for Rishabh Pant was that he was there. He really gave, on Valentine's Day, he absolutely entertained the public there in Chennai on the second day. There was absolute entertainment, being a Sunday, a public holiday. It was absolute entertainment at the Chepauk ground in Chennai for all the spectators, no doubt about it. And Rishabh Pant crashed 58, not out, but unfortunately was running out of partners as Akshar Patel was consumed for 5, Ishan Sharma fell for naught, Kuldeep Yadav for naught, and Mohammad Siraj for 4. And absolutely, Rishabh Pant was absolutely livid when Mohammad Siraj tried to throw his bat away at a ball which was going past. Probably he had given him his instructions. He had probably hit a 4, but but definitely the strokes that Rishabh Pant played, absolutely value for money. Absolutely, it was a really thorough entertainment for the Chennai spectators as Rishabh Pant crashed 58, 7 fours and 3 sixes in that particular knock as India were bowled out for 329. Oli Stone doing very well, picking up 3 wickets for 47. 2 wickets for 78 for Jack Leach, left arm spinner, and Moeen Ali getting 4 wickets. Now, England, in that first dig, it was very interesting to see as to what England would come up with, but England had absolutely no answer to the spin of Ravi Chandran Ashwin. As I said, Ravi Chandran Ashwin has taken his 29 5-wicket haul in Test cricket, 23.5 overs, 4 maidens, 43 runs, and 5 wickets. Ishan Sharma did a good job. He picked up the initial burst. In his initial burst, he picked up the wicket of Rory Burns as he sent him back to the pavilion pretty quickly as he was LBW bowled Ishan Sharma for note. So that was the first wicket where Burns reviewed, but it definitely went against him and he was gone. After that, we saw how Ashwin totally took control of the match. 23.5 overs, 4 maidens, 43 runs and 5 wickets for Ravi Chandran Ashwin. Akshar Patel on his debut, I mean, what a dream wicket. He picked up the wicket of Joe Root. Now, Joe Root, just to imagine, Akshar Patel was making he was making his Test debut and making a maiden Test wicket in the form of Joe Root was something that he would cherish for a long time. It was Akshar Patel actually bowling a delivery where he was inviting Joe Root to have a sweep at him. Joe Root swept against the spin and the ball went into the air, top edge of the bat, and that was a maiden Test wicket for Akshar Patel as Ashwin settled under the catch. Joe Root was gone for 6. After that, we saw Ben Stokes being dismissed by a beauty of a delivery from Ravi Chandran Ashwin. Absolute drift. The ball dipped, it drifted, it beat the bat of Ben Stokes and beautifully turned and went across the face of the bat and hit the off stump. And what a delivery that was from Ashwin. A special delivery to a special batsman, one could call it. Ben Stokes bowled Ashwin for 18 with 1 boundary. And Dan Lawrence continued to struggle. He pottered around with 9 runs of 52 balls. And Ravi Chandran Ashwin was the one who picked him just last ball before lunch. He actually got some turn and bounce. And Lawrence jabbed at it. And Shubman Gill at forward short leg was into business. Dom Sibley was a victim of the bowling of Ravi Chandran Ashwin when he went for the sweep shot. And it was an absolute precision there as far as the England batsmen were concerned. Ollie Pope the Mohammad Siraj was bowling his first delivery at home. As you know, he made his debut against Australia, so he was bowling his first delivery at home. And in the very first delivery, he sent Ollie Pope, who was out for 22 with 1 boundary, back to the pavilion as a punt picked up an absolutely fantastic catch because to go to, yes, he was definitely jumping or diving to his left side, which is his natural hand. Like a goalkeeper, he plucked the catch with 1 hand. What a catch from Rishabh Pant, showing absolutely athletic skills there. And Mohammad Siraj was the one who took his wicket. Mohammad Siraj getting the first wicket in India, bowling in a Test match. After that, Ben Foakes was the only one who offered the resistance, and he was there all the way till the England team was bowled out for 134. He was not out on 42, which had 4 boundaries in it. But I thought Ben Foakes definitely came to terms with the Indian spin attack. Moeen Ali was a victim of the bowling of Akshar Patel as he lunged forward, and it took the outside edge. Rahane taking the catch. As I said, it was not easy on this particular bit. It was absolutely turning. And after that, the tailenders were dismissed pretty quickly. Ashwin took care of Ollie Stone for 1. Leach went to Ishan Sharma for 5. Stuart Brown bowled Ashwin for naught. 134 all out. The England and India getting 195 runs lead in the first innings. And as I said, was value for money for the spectators, the Chennai spectators on a Sunday, on a Valentine's Day. And it was an absolute Valentine's treat that was given by the Indian bowlers, Ashwin. Ashwin would have been very glad that he could do it in front of his home crowd in Chennai. Akshar Patel, as I said, bowled well. 20 overs, 3 maidens, 40 runs and 2 wickets for Akshar Patel. Kuldeep Yadav, 6 overs, 1 minute, none for 16. Was not among the wickets, but does not matter. But he definitely gave some good company to Rishabh Pant. He was the only one who stayed with Rishabh Pant for quite some time. Mohammad Siraj, 5 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 5. Mohammad Siraj. And India in their second leg, they lost Shubman Gill, who hit a 6 as well, but he was basically given out by umpire Menon, as it was a slider from Jack Leach, and he was adjudged LBW. But after that, Rohit Sharma continued in the way that he batted the other day. But India were 54 for 1 going at close of play. Rohit Sharma was not out on 25 with 2 fours and 1 6. And Cheteshwar Pujara was not out on 7 with 1 boundary. India absolutely on the box seat, driver's seat, whatever you call it. India leading by 249 runs going to the third day. And I'm sure this particular match is probably going to finish on the fourth day. I mean, time is at India's hands. India can really bite their time, build up a big total, probably give a target of probably 450 to 500, which is going to, as I said, even a total of 250 or 200 is going to be difficult on this particular pitch. As you know, England will be batting last. Probably they'll be caught on the fourth day, I reckon. So I'm expecting India to really take their time. They're nothing to worry. They can take all the time in the world on the third day, graft, and get some runs as well. And probably on the fourth day, they might throw the target to England. And as I said, this will be a minefield of a pitch when England will be batting for me. So that is the match situation as far as India and England are concerned. Ollie Stone, none for 8, 1 for 19 for Jack Leach, the only wicket taker. Now we are going to the next match. So this match is absolutely interesting. We are going into the third day and we are going to get ounces of entertainment. There's no doubt about it, unless England can come up with something special. Now, the only problem for England happens to be that Jack Leach is not an experienced spinner as the Indian spinner Ashwin. So that is what is going against them. They don't have quality spinners that India has, and that is something that definitely I think they have to pull up. England have to really pull a rabbit out of a hat if they have to really contest with India in this particular test match. And looking at the way things are going, I'm definitely referring back to Australia, where India lost the first test, but after that they came absolutely roaring as they beat Australia. So this is the second test match, and India will level the series. Hopefully, if that happens, then it is really, I'm telling you, the 2 test matches are going to be something. It's going to be absolutely cracker stuff there. Now let's go into another exciting match which you're talking about. West Indies versus Bangladesh. West Indies versus Bangladesh. As you know, Bangladesh bowled out for 296, taking a very handy lead of 120 runs odd. But they were the other day. They had already lost 3 wickets, as you know. Bonner was at the crease. Bonner did a good job. He made 38 with 3 boundaries. The night watchman is out for 2 again. Here, Abu Jayed picking up the wicket. Very important wicket of Kyle Mayers, LBW for 6. So that was very important. Jermaine Blackwood, what a 6. I mean, the 6 that he hit off the bowling of Abu Jayed was absolutely effortless. He just smote him into the terraces there. Joshua De Silva making 20, but definitely it was not easy for the West Indies. The ball was turning, the ball was bouncing, and the spinners had a field day. Tajul Islam, 4 for 30, Naeem Hassan, 3 for 34, and Mehdi Hassan was 1 for 50. If you look at the West Indian card there, they were bowled out for 117, thus setting the Bangladeshis 230 runs for a win. Aljari Joseph 9, Rakeem Cornwall 1, Gabriel was not out on 1. Now Bangladesh in their second innings, given a target of 230. Now this was the excitement. Tamim Iqbal started off in a flash, flashing boundaries. He was looking in absolutely pink touch there as he was hitting boundaries, and he was the most experienced person, so he knew how to play with the turn. He was playing when the spinners were bowling, he was actually hitting, playing the ball with the turn, and that is a mark of an experienced batsman. Tamim Iqbal, as far as Tamim Iqbal was there, one knew that Bangladesh definitely had a chance of winning it, but it was not going to be easy. But I thought the West Indian spinners had been given due credit. Let's talk about Rakeem Cornwall. 5 wickets in the first innings, 4 wickets in the second innings. He had a 9-wicket haul, and he was Rakeem Cornwall was named the player of the match, and Krumar Bonner got the man of the series. So Rakeem Cornwall, 30 overs, 5 innings, 105 runs, and 4 wickets for Rakeem Cornwall. Superb bowling, And also, let's talk about Rakeem Cornwall's fielding as well. I mean, such a tall guy, burly guy, the tallest cricketer in international cricket today. And how, I mean, being in the slip cordon, he's able to take catches by bending down, and he's taking some superlative catches. And that really, really says a lot about this bloke, Rakeem Cornwall. But what bowling? I mean, he's not someone who is afraid to flight the ball, even though the batsman will hit him for a six. He got the turn and bounce. He has the height, so he could generate a lot of bounce as well. So it's a big, big asset for West Indies. Alzar Joseph, none for 16, not used much, which one could understand. It was all about the spinners. And I'm told that this thing happened in New Zealand, in Christchurch for West Indies, when all the spinners took the spoils. It was Sony Ramadhan, Alf Valentine. There was all the former West Indian cricketers. It happened way back in the 1970s against New Zealand in Christchurch. And here, this is the first time after a long, long time, after 1970, this is the first time that the West Indian spinners have taken all the wickets in the second innings. Rakeem Cornwall, 4 for 105. Jamal Warrican, the left-arm spinner, 3 for 47. Craig Brathwaite, the West Indian captain, definitely, I thought his captaincy was something which was absolutely a pleasure to watch. Craig Brathwaite, 11 overs, 1 made, and 25 runs and 3 wickets for Craig Brathwaite, 3 for 47 for Jamal Warrican. And as I said, the match was absolutely interesting. It was such thrilling. And when Tamim Iqbal, after playing a beautiful innings of 50 or 46 balls and 9 fours, was gone, there, and this was after that, we saw the wickets were just falling like 9 pins. Soumya Sarkar out for 13, Shanto, 11, Mominul Haq, the captain, played there. He looked a bit confident, but nevertheless, he was out for 26. Mushfiqur Rahim, 14. But I have to say one thing, Mushfiqur Rahim, probably with his experience, could have played in a much better manner. As you know, time was not a problem. We were still on, I think it was yes, it was the final day, yes. So just talking about this Bangladeshi innings there, Tamim Iqbal, Soumya Sarkar, Najmul Hussain Shanto, Najmul Hussain Shanto made 11. We had Mominul 26, Mushfiqur Rahim, Mohammad Mithun was out for 10, Liton Das was out for 22. And Liton Das and Mushfiqur Rahim, I thought, could have played a bit more responsibly to get things going, but unfortunately that was not. But Mehdi and Miraz definitely. I mean, if you look at the game, if I just want to describe the game for you, this was the particular scenario. 230 runs to get. The score reads 188 for 9 for Bangladesh. They still have a long way to go. I mean, as you know, the ball is turning, the ball is spitting, bouncing, and if you look at it, it's basically you have another 42 runs still to get. And Mehdi and Miraz really starts throwing the bat at the ball as he started hitting sixes, and he had already taken 31 with 3 fours and 2 sixes. And finally, and when one thought, I mean, if you look at the margin, there was only 17 runs to get. And for 17 runs, it was touch and go. It could be Bangladesh, it could be West Indies. But in the end, it was none other than the West Indies that actually came to the fore as Jamal Warrican picked up the wicket. Now again, as I said, Cornwall taking the catches has been something of a real feature. And Marius and Miraz probably got a length ball on the off stump. He tried to poke at it, and Cornwall, as I said in the slips, showing great reflexes, bending down and taking the catch. And West Indies had made history with this third string team. They had won the match by 7 runs, thus taking the series, as I said, blanketing Bangladesh in their own territory, 2-0. Is this a start of the new generation of West Indian cricketers coming? Absolutely. I think kudos to the West Indies team. They have played marvelously. I think Phil Simmons, the coach, also requires a lot of credit. Clive Lloyd motivated them by saying that the West Indies, saying that believe in themselves and go for the win. And that's what they have done it. They are absolutely, I think, whatever I could say, words are too less for the West Indies. I think West Indies rock, absolutely. To me, it's a new generation of West Indian cricketers coming up in international cricket. And everybody, West Indies, every player deserves the share of the pie there. Rakeem Cornwall, player of the match. Nkrumah Bonner, what a player he's going to be. 2 centuries he missed. Nkrumah Bonner was named man of the match, and rightly so. Now, just before I wind up this cricket show. Let's go on to the Pakistan versus South Africa. It was the decider today between Pakistan and South Africa. Pakistan in the end won by 4 wickets. But what a match. Just talk about South Africa. 164 for 8. At one point of time, they were 48 for 6. They were 65 for 7. But David Miller, absolutely, what an innings for David Miller. We all know David Miller is a very, very capable player. He can really hit the long ball, and that's what he precisely did. He went blasted. He blasted the Pakistani bowlers to all sides of the park as he blasted 85 not out of just 45 deliveries, which included 5 fours and 7 sixes. Absolutely, I mean, he was the sole person to do it. As I said, South Africa were absolutely into a deep hole at 48 for 6 and then 65 for 7. Mallon had gone for 27. Reza Hendricks was out for 2. John Smuts out for 1. Bailon out for 16. Klassen, the captain, out for 0. Philipwayo 0. Pretorius 9. Fortune 10. Supamla 8. And looking at the bowling, Shaheen Shah Afridi had no wicket, but there was a new debutant today by the name Zahid Mahmood, the right-arm leg spinner. I thought he was pretty impressive. He was making his debut today, and he did a good job. In one particular over, he picked up 2 wickets, which was wonderfully done. But right-arm leg spinner, he leaked 40 runs, but nevertheless, he did a good job, picked up 2 wickets. And it was very difficult for the South Africans. So who would have thought at 48 for 6 when everything was going, but this man absolutely came there, as you know. But as you know, David Miller has not been in a lot of form. There has been a question mark on his form, but today he showed on his comeback that he still has that thrashing ability, which he showed. Not out 85 or 45 deliveries, 5 fours and 7 sixes. A shame that he had to finish on the losing side with Pakistan winning the series 2-1. Bowling 2 for 13. Mohammad Nawaz bowled well. Fahim Ashraf none for 38. He was carted by David Miller for 4 sixes in the final over. Hassan Ali 2 for 29, 3 for 40 for Zahid Mahmood, the right-arm leggy. Usman Qadir, one was thinking that why he could not bowl his 4 overs, 3 overs, 1 for 12. Now, one thing I would like to tell you about Pakistan innings, I'll be talking about it. 169 for 6, yes, they won the match. Mohammad Rizwan was the man of the series. I mean, as I said, Mohammad Rizwan is the best thing to happen for Pakistan cricket currently. I mean, what a player he is. You give him anything, he has... in a very short span, he has centuries in T20s, he has a century in test matches, he has a century in one-day cricket, and my word, this bloke is an absolutely gem of a cricketer for Pakistan. Mohammad Rizwan, once again taking the mantle, 42 of 30 deliveries, 5 fours and 2 sixes. Hyder Ali was told to open the innings today. He was gone for 15 of 13, 1 4, 1 6. Babar Azam played a sweet little innings of 44 of 30 deliveries, 5 fours, 1 6. And then Shamsi came into the act. Shamsi was the one who started putting the pressure on the Pakistanis at 3 wickets. He dismissed Hussain Talat, clean bowled him for 5. Asif Ali holed out in the deep for 7. Fahim Ashraf was off for fortune. Now, and then finally it was Mohammad Nawaz really keeping his cool, hitting an unbeaten 11. 18 of 11 deliveries, 2 fours, 1 6. Hassan Ali thrashing 20 of just 7 deliveries, 1 4 and 2 6. He was also not out. And that was the game for Pakistan, and Pakistan had won the series 2-1. But what a series we had here. South Africa deserves a lot of credit for pushing Pakistan. But one thing I have to tell you, I was a bit wondering at the captaincy of Henrik Klassen. The only reason that I say this is he started rotating the bowlers. He did not give everyone. He got Fortune, he got John Smuts. He probably rotated. He brought Andy Philipwayo. He brought Lutho Sipamla. So I was just wondering that whether if you see the Tabraiz Shamsi's bowling figures, 4 overs, no maidens, 25 runs and 4 wickets. Now you have best bowler, Tabraiz Shamsi. You know this is a very, very crucial match. I was just wondering why he did not give the first over or the second over to Tabraiz Shamsi. Probably 1 over. I mean, you know that Mohammad Rizwan and Izwan is a wonderful player. He's the main player. Probably, you know, we could have throttled them. I was a bit surprised, but look at what Shamsi did in the end. He picked up for 25 runs. So I thought Henrik Klassen's captaincy, to me, as a layman, a cricket layman, I thought he could have done better instead of doing that. Yes, he did it in the previous matches as well, but and also let's give credit for Pakistan. Pakistan have registered their 100th victory in their T20 format, and Pakistan becomes the first country to register 100 victories in T20 matches. So definitely Pakistan, you definitely deserve it. And Pakistan have won the series. Mohammad Nawaz was named player of the match. Mohammad Rizwan, as I said, the player for Pakistan now, as a gem of a player. He was named player of the series, and rightly so. And I'm sure Mohammad Rizwan is going to really give a lot of entertainment to the spectators all across the world with this style of batting. Looking at the bowling, 1 for 30 for John Fortune, the left-arm spinner. Wayne Pretorius today had runs taken off with 3 overs, 1 for 33. Smutsnam for 20. Feliquayo was carted for 37 of his 2.4 overs. Luto Sipamla, 2 overs, none for 23. But Tabrai Samji, look at the bowling figures. 4 overs, they made in 4 for 25. What if this bloke had actually come in and bowled in the starting stages? I think that would have really put some pressure on Pakistan, because Mohammad Rizwan and Haider Ali would have probably struggled, probably because he was the one who was bowling there. And Mohammad Shamsi is someone who can spin the ball away from you, and you can also bring the ball into you. We can spin the ball back into you. Well, dear fans of the Towers, thanks for waiting patiently on this Cricket Happening show, and really enjoying this exciting Cricket Happening show with your host Ram. And look forward to your company once more tomorrow. And it would be probably, I'll be speaking about the third day's play in the second test match between India and England at Chennai. Well, as I said, it should be another interesting day's play coming up today, and one is really waiting for it. This being said, this is your host Ram signing this off on a Sunday. Thank you.